Hello, and welcome back to an all-new episode of the Voyage Within. I am your host, Brittany Jackson. I specialize in personal development and how to live an authentic life leading from your heart. What does an authentic life leading from your heart mean to you? If you were true to yourself and you could have any life you wanted, what would that look like? And what would you think if I told you that that could change from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, and that this life was meant to be experienced as a flow of transition? When you think of a river, it's not a straight line. There's twists, there's turns, there's boulders, there's waves, there's heavier currents, and there's lighter currents. And that's what life is, but it is never still. It never stays in one place. How have you allowed your life to flow? And what does that look like for you? I've mentioned in previous episodes about seasons and how my life has experienced so many transitions, so many beautiful beginnings, and so many beautiful endings. There's been times I've been called to one thing, and then I'm called to another. And I'm grateful that I've allowed myself to transition and change as needed. It's like the seasons. In the spring, the leaves and the buds grow. They become this beautiful green, luscious tree throughout the summer. And in the fall, the leaves begin to change, and then they're let go, falling to the ground, to then be buried under the snow for the winter. And then everything begin again in its cycle. And how do we do that? How do we evolve from year to year? Who were you at the beginning of this past year? And who are you as you end this year? There are so many changes that happen in our lives all of the time. Are you open and willing to those changes? I began this journey on this podcast over 17 weeks ago. I had an intuitive thought and an inspiration of something I'd always thought about and considered, and I finally took the leap of faith. I finally showed up, not knowing what I was doing and how I was going to do it. I pushed through the uncertainty, the insecurity. I had faith, and I chose myself to continue to show up authentically, as I mentioned in this episode entry, each episode. To live an authentic life leading from your heart. I have been authentic through this whole journey. I have shared parts of me and my life that I never would have thought I would have shared publicly on a platform that can be accessed or shared by anybody. And I did all that in hopes that I could touch somebody's heart and open their mind in a new way that they could bring into their families, their lives, and communities. And I hope this podcast has done that for you. I made a commitment to continue to show up each week for 6 months, and I've been prompted to transition that time frame a little bit. This is the 17th episode and 17th week of the Voyage Within, and it has been quite the journey that I have loved so much. And I am called to bring this first season to a close. After I had started my podcast and I'd been doing it for a little while, I was suggested to look into becoming a meditation teacher because somebody saw something in me that I'd never thought of before. It was interesting and it intrigued me, and I thought, why not give it a shot? And I did. Since starting this podcast, I have become a meditation teacher on Insight Timer, and meditation has served such an important part of my life. That helps me in my mental health and my well-being. It helps me show up more present for myself and the people I surround myself with and share my life with. I am not perfect, and I still get stirred up and overwhelmed. I still get confused and lose my footing, but I always know how to recenter and get back on track. And that's what life is about. And I believe meditation has showed me and taught me a lot of those tools that I really want to share with others. In my recovery community, I chair a meditation meeting every week, And I've introduced meditation to people's lives, and I've watched them grow over the course of weeks as they have continued to come back and experience the meditation. And to see their growth and their healing and their spirituality and their mind open up and evolve has been one of the greatest things I've experienced. I am now being called to put more time and energy into the meditation teacher avenue that I have started. This podcast does take a lot of time and energy, and I love it so much. I love creating, opening my heart to you, and coming up with an inspirational message to share with you on each episode. And I would like to see this as not all or nothing. I am called to step back and stop focusing my time and energy on so many different things in my life and focus more on the few that I really want to nurture. I have been feeling overwhelmed, a little distracted and scattered, and there's a lot of things that have been going on within my life. Starting a new relationship. I'm going to be taking a new class on potentially looking into becoming a death doula. I have also been on a pool league for a long time, on and off, that I'm going to step away from so I can create more time and space. I also go to therapy. I work other recovery programs. I also pick up jobs and work. And then I've also been creating, recording, editing, and posting these podcast episodes to share with you. And I appreciate everything you have done and the ways you have joined me along this journey. I have been investing into the meditation teacher profile on my Insight Timer page, and I've been creating these meditations. On the Insight Timer app, there is an option for free meditations where anyone that downloads the app and creates an account can access them. And then there's also a membership option, which is $60 for a whole year, and you get special access to courses and longer meditations that are more professional in nature with better quality. And there are a lot of great teachers on there that also offer individual mentorship outside of what they offer in the app. I also would like to get into something like that where I can mentor people in hopes that they can get more connected with themselves and more intentional about what they want and where they're headed on their journey. You can find me on Insight Timer under Brittany Jackson. And so I ask you, how is everything on your plate doing? Are there things that you need to stop committing to create more time and space for maybe other things you would prefer or enjoy? Or is everything working exactly as you need? There are certain tools that I like to utilize when I am unsure about how I'm feeling, what I need, where I am headed. And one of those tools I like to use is a God box. And for this exercise, I write down whatever it is in my life that I am struggling with at the time. Like right now, clarity and direction. So I would write that down on a piece of paper, and then I would put it in the God box as a symbolism of turning it over to God and letting go. Having faith that it will sort itself out as I become and remain open to the possibilities that will arise. Another exercise I like to do is my oracle cards. Oracle cards are a way of positive messaging and direction. What I like to do is ask the cards a question. Usually that is, what do I need to know in this season of my life? What message do I need to receive? And I pick a card out of the deck, and the one that I picked for this new direction that I am headed on, as I ask the universe, what do I need to know or what is next for me on my journey? The card that came up was called the Lost Compass, getting back to integrity. And what are the chances of drawing that card with that message with what I'm struggling with right now on direction, minimizing distractions, and putting more focus and effort into particular avenues instead of so many different ones. I want to read to you a part of the card that I just really loved. It said, "The lost compass is a blessing in disguise because you sometimes have to lose your bearings and find yourself afresh to discover a new course. True north never changes, so reset your way to your heart compass and trust your deepest feelings. Remember that you are not lost. You simply do not know where you are going right now. Lost is a state of mind. Not knowing where you are going is an opportunity to find a way to a new path." I love that. It reassures me that I am exactly where I need to be. And even though I may not see the direction or clarity right now, I will receive it as I do each next step, one step at a time. All we can do is try something new and see what happens. If there is uncertainty in your life about something, try something different and see how you feel. No decision is permanent. We can always go back to something or create something new, but there's nothing wrong with taking time and space in the meantime. There's also another exercise that I love to utilize. It was really hard for me to make the decision to take a break from the podcast, take some time and space, and focus that energy more right now on the meditations course that I've been doing. So I went to my journal because I was told that we should always put pen to paper to help get what's going on in our heads out and down so we can see it more clearly. It slows our thinking down as we process and write, and we are able to focus a little bit more. When it comes to journaling, there is an exercise which is where you continue to ask yourself why until you get clarity. You should at least ask yourself why about 5 times. And I will give you an example of what I was journaling today before this episode. I had started by getting clear on the intention of why I am making this decision right now. So I started with, why are you taking a break? I wrote to focus more clearly and fully on other avenues that have been calling to me, to see how I feel about it after some space. So I said, why? Because I have been distracted. I feel lost, confused, and scattered. Why? Because I try and juggle too many things all at once. Why? Because I don't know what I want. Why? Because I see the beauty and fault in everything. Why? Because I'm open-minded and curious. I am a student and a teacher of life. Why? Because there are so many possibilities and directions, and I want to see and experience them all. Why? Because life is so beautiful, dynamic, full, and abundant. So then I got clear on what I want out of life. What am I looking for from considering this transition and trying something different? I said, I want peace, I want love, clarity, abundance, success, connection. I want to be of service. I always want to experience time with my loved ones, my family, my friends, and to continue to create new memories and experiences. All we can do is take the chance and try. And no decision is permanent. It does not have to be all or nothing. Some seasons of our life call for adjustments. So we adjust and we try and we see if that works. And maybe it does work for days, weeks, months, maybe even years. But then maybe we're called to something different. And how in tune are you with yourself to listen to what you need and to also care about yourself enough to make the transitions needed to create more space and clarity? Usually when I am confused, overwhelmed, or I don't know what I want to do, I tend to overload my plate. I take on more, I do more, because I want to distract from the way I am feeling in a season of uncertainty. But the truth is, the only way that we can receive clarity is taking a step back, to create some space to think, to breathe, to journal, to meditate, to pray, and to create more space for clarity. That's when we get the answers, is when we unplug from everything that we do to center into ourselves and our intuition. And we can't do that if we are not giving ourselves any time or space. What you need matters, and you are important. I don't know how long of a break I need right now in my life. The holidays are coming up. Everything gets busy. There's a lot of new, but I trust that I will be prompted and inspired to arrive with an all-new message if I am supposed to and the time comes. I would love to offer you a second season, and I would love to offer you more episodes. I don't know if that will be once a week again in the future, maybe once a month, maybe here and there with no specific timeline, but I don't want to leave this off entirely or completely or permanently. So please reach out and let me know if you have loved this podcast, if you have enjoyed listening to these episodes, and what you would love to hear on an all-new season. What spoke to you? What advice would you like? What are you experiencing that you want some support or direction on? This podcast is nothing without you, your participation, and your interaction. So thank you for supporting me and loving me as I take this time and space to check in with me and see what is new and where the next chapter in my life will lead. Make sure to find me on Insight Timer and let's hang out together. I plan to do live meditations on there as well that will be free for everyone that would like to join. And I hope for you to see more of me on there. Maybe I will even share some meditations on this podcast, and I would like to interconnect them. As we bring this episode to a close, I would love to pray over you. Invite in your higher power, your power of the universe, your light source that connects you to something greater than yourself. God, I pray over the listener that they pay attention to what they need and they prioritize to do what they need to honor that they know that they are important and that their well-being matters, that they cannot show up fully and authentically in their life if they are not taking time and space for themselves. You are not obligated to do anything that you don't want to do, and if you are unclear of what you want to do, I pray over you that you are able to find support, clarity, and the answers that you seek. When we become intentional and we become grounded in who we are and what we want, we find who we really are and we live the life that is authentic for us. I pray that your higher power leads you, guides you, supports you, and let you know that you are love. And you are loved by so many in so many ways. I would like to say some affirmations. These help reframe our minds to positive thinking. Feel free to say these to yourself or out loud, and feel free to put your hand over your heart and connect with yourself. I am powerful and I step into my truth. I remove myself and I set boundaries to anything that does not serve my greater good. I check in with me and I do what I need to take care of myself. I give this love that I first give to me to others. Thank you so much for enjoying going through this journey with me. I wish you all the love and happiness during this break, and I hope that you reach out and that we can get connected in some way. Until next time, whenever the universe decides, to live well and be happy.